you doing, Duff here? Had a frustrating afternoon. I've been trying to get out on the wheel for probably 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. And I got tied up at home working on a computer problem. All of a sudden, Windows Explorer stopped working on my computer, which is kind of an annoying problem. And of course I looked it up online and came up with a couple of possible remedies, and none of them worked. So I had to wind up blowing away my Windows profile. I backed up my important files, blew away my Windows profile, and then made a new one. And then I was able to use Windows Explorer again. But the process took a while, and I have a bunch of stuff that has to get tweaked and fixed yet, but I have the basics working, so I guess that's good enough. So anyways, that's why I've been not getting out here. That's about to change shortly. Still haven't even gotten a chance to reverse my pedals yet, as you can see. So I parked at the Super Target parking lot. I plan to do a big loop. I've done this loop before, where you go down Oaks Boulevard and you wind up at the North Collier Regional Park and back. So I've hardly gotten on my wheel at all this week because of daylight savings and being busy with various things. Last night I went out for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and that's been it. So it's kind of a bummer. So you might remember last week, one of the things I talked about during my 20-mile ride to Dunkin' Donuts was how Cindy had her heart set on a dog. We had seen one at Rural King on Saturday, which she was into. And I stopped her, said, we can't adopt a dog right now. And I mentioned on the ride how it would be a very hard thing for me to agree to have another dog in the house again for various reasons. So anyways, to make a long story short, we now have that dog in our house right now. Technically we are fostering the dog for a week to see, we wanted to verify that she got along okay with chickens and Sadie, my dog from my prior marriage. I picked up Sadie on Thursday, so they've been together since then, and they've been getting along just fine, no problems there. Chickens, so far so good, but we're obviously not going to let her off her leash around the chickens for a period of time, but I don't see any major problems there. Actually, the only unfortunate thing so far is she crapped in the house once and peed in the house twice, so if we get away from that, we'll be golden. So anyway, I don't remember if I mentioned her name last week. The dog's name is Elsa. And she's very cute. She's small. She is a sound sleeper. She's actually been in bed with us since night one, and she's sleeps very soundly, doesn't make much noise, which is nice. So it's been good. I still have some hesitancy, obviously, and some anxiety about it for several reasons, but I'm sure it'll work out. If we can just get the house training handled, I'll feel better. My Unicycle buddy Greg will be happy to hear that I bought a helmet for Cindy's daughter this week. So she has a helmet, have some wrist guards for her, although I'm not sure that they're going to fit. I think Cindy got them and they're a little small, but she should have some safety gear next time that we're riding at least. So I feel better. Oh, Some of these pine trees have put their roots underneath the path, and they kind of launch you a little bit as you go over them. Here's a front view of a smooth stop, or smooth dismount, I should say. And then a smooth mount. Super smooth. I saw on the electric unicycle forum this week that another guy reported his Msuper V3 cutting out, and this was kind of different than all the other cases that I've heard. This guy, he's a bigger guy. I think he says he weighs around 240 pounds, and he lives in San Francisco, I think, and he was going down a steep grade, but slowly, and the wheel cut out on him. And he had a lot of injuries. I think he broke his ankle and tore some tendons. It sounded really bad. So I have to tell you, it does make me a little bit nervous. Okay, I've now made a right-hand turn off of Oaks Boulevard, and I'm going down Vanderbilt Beach Road. When I did that brief 10 to 15 minute ride last night, I was very surprised to see on our one cross street there was not one but two houses that already had exterior Christmas lights out. I thought that was quite interesting and early. Just made the right turn onto Livingston Road. Next stop, North Collier Regional Park. Oh, I mentioned several weeks ago how I had bought the upgrade to Camtasia, the 64-bit version of Camtasia, in hopes that it would stop the crashing problem that I had with my 32-bit version of Camtasia, which is what I use to edit all my videos. And I just want to report that it has stopped the crashing. I haven't had a crash since I went to the 64-bit version. I've been wanting to say that for a while and keep forgetting. Crossing a major bridge here. Major bridge. Just kidding. Okay, now approaching the entrance to the park. I've noticed since I've gotten the Msuper, I hardly ever use the app because it's so terrible. So I haven't really been tracking my mileage that I put on this since I've gotten it. But if I were to guess, I bet I'm close to 100 miles. I need to take a look just to see. I did hear that they're supposed to be releasing a new app though, so that would be nice. Can't be any worse than what it is. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember if I've been here on the Msuper yet. I think I was. I think when we came with Cindy and Katie that one time I had the Msuper already. My memory isn't great. Even though it is relatively late in the day, there's a lot of activity still going on. Super windy right now. And the sun is starting to go down already. Starting to cool off a little bit. Here's the lake where the RC sailboat guys hang out most mornings. No one's here right now. I'm heading for the boardwalk. I remember the first time I was on this boardwalk, it was pretty terrifying. now it's just enjoyable. And we're exiting the boardwalk. That's fun. It's nice to get out here. I feel my mood's better. My mood wasn't very good today. Hard to explain why. No full moon to blame it on this time. Just, don't know. Who knows? Guess I'm just a grumpy old man. Today was my last responsibility as a race timer, even though I didn't time the race. This is a race that I had contracted to do, and I had someone else actually do it for me. The race is now concluded, so my days as a race timer or having anything to do with race timing are at an end, and I'm glad. If I wanted to do a true loop, I would go right. That would take me on a Mockley Road. It would be a shorter return trip, but it's also less scenic. A lot more traffic, so I'm just going to go left and go back the way that I came. You know, part of me getting out of the race timing business means I was selling all of my equipment that's associated with it, so I'm going to have some spare money. And for some odd reason, I found myself like looking at more unicycles, like I'm looking at like a in motion wheel or King Song, and yeah, which is stupid, but I have to admit I did look. Here's a random fact. Did you know that I have been a World of Warcraft player since 2005, I believe. Some of you may know what World of Warcraft is, some of you may not. It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. So it's one of the things that I've kind of used to disconnect and kind of just relieve stress. The other things are riding a unicycle and exercise. Those are kind of my three natural stress relievers in my life. When I first started playing, I was hardcore addicted. I bet I was playing 30 to 40 hours per week. Yes, per week. So, yeah. To put it mildly, I enjoy the game. I don't play nearly that much anymore, but I do still play. So at this point, I bet I'm close to 8 miles in. I haven't really stopped for any appreciable foot brake. Although, I mean, my feet they feel uncomfortable. Just not as, when I was on the 9-bot after a certain period, I mean, I had to get off because it hurt so bad. But with these pedals, my feet do hurt, but not as much. So, and I am very curious if I'll notice any difference when I turn them around. Should be an interesting experiment. Almost back. I'm gonna cut in here into Malibu Lakes and do a quick loop. This is actually where my ex-wife lived for a couple of years. I haven't been there since she moved out of there. The condo she rented, it was very nice. It was too expensive though, but it's a nice community. They have a nice walking path around here. See if I can get on it. The path. Pretty narrow, so I'm not gonna stay on it. But we walked the dogs around this quite a few times. Off-roading, off-roading. little, brings back a little bit of nostalgia. Different time. Adios, Malibu Lakes. Okay, I'm back. That's a pretty nice ride. Not sure how long. If I had to guess, maybe between 8 and 9 miles. Definitely a good way to wind up the daylight hours of my Saturday. I'm going to go home and work more on my computer. Can hardly wait. But that's it. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Tough man out.